When most people picture the Yorkshire Dales, they picture rolling green hills, stone walls, sheep scattered across the valleys and winding roads. And of course that landscape is beautiful. But this weekend we've come searching for something else, something most people never come to the Yorkshire Dales looking for. Because beneath those views is something much older. This weekend Rose and I will be exploring Ice Age lakes, ancient limestone landscapes, and beneath our feet an ancient cave system hidden beneath the rock that was formed over millions of years. So come along for the ride and see an incredible Britain. Good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. So we've headed back up into North Yorkshire, into one of our favourite areas of England, the Yorkshire Dales. And we've found this amazing location. I'll give you more details about this later, but we are literally parked up by the side of a lake. And when I say parked up by the side of the lake, I mean on the side of a lake. Take a look at this. There's something about places like this that seems to quiet everything. Perhaps it's because almost everything around us has existed on a timescale that makes our own lives feel incredibly small. These hills were being shaped long before there were roads, farms or villages here, and the lake itself is a survivor of an almost unimaginable world. Towards the end of the last ice age, much of northern Britain lay beneath enormous masses of ice. Glaciers moved slowly through these valleys, grinding against the rock, carrying stone and debris and helping to sculpt the landscape we recognise today. Then the climate changed and the ice retreated, and here in Radale, debris left behind by the glaciers blocked the natural drainage of the valley. Water gathered behind it and Semer Water was born. But the landscape didn't stay frozen in time. As Britain warmed, open tundra gave way to forest. Animals disappeared, others moved north, and eventually people arrived too. Around 10,000 years ago, Stone Age hunters were already visiting this lake, drawn here by deer and wild horses gathering at the water's edge. Just imagine that, people standing beside this same water 10,000 years before us. A completely different Britain, and yet the lake was here. Over thousands of years the landscape changed again. Forests spread and were cleared, tracks became paths, paths became roads, farms appeared and villages grew, and the modern world arrived. And still these hills remain, a constant in a forever changing world. And today, for one tiny moment in that enormous story, we get to be here too. So is Semer Water really that remarkable? It isn't surrounded by Britain's highest mountains. There isn't one enormous spectacle that immediately gives the answer away. But maybe that misses the point, because sometimes it's the whole picture that makes somewhere remarkable. A natural lake created at the end of the Ice Age. A body of water Stone Age hunters would have recognised. A lake so shallow that across large areas you can simply wade through it. The freedom to drift quietly across its surface in a canoe. To park almost at the water's edge and spend the night surrounded by hills, wildlife and open sky. And perhaps most noticeably of all, no phone signal, no constant notifications, and no endless connection to everything happening somewhere else. For a while the outside world simply disappears. And perhaps that's why places like this seem to attract the same kind of people. People who come to slow down, explore and enjoy the landscape, and somehow ended up sharing small pieces of their lives with complete strangers. You sit together for an evening, and you laugh, and you talk about where you've been and where you're going. Sometimes a conversation with somebody you met only an hour ago becomes part of the memory of the place itself. Maybe it's because there's already something connecting you, a shared appreciation of the world around us, a curiosity about what lies beyond the next hill. And Semer Water is also the source for the River Bain, which is actually Britain's shortest river. And it also looks like a really nice place to cool down. So Rose and I are going to get the canoe out and get splashing around in the water and get cooled down. The sky's clearing, looks like it's going to be a lovely day again today. But yeah, it's certainly not the temperatures that we were having over the last few days of 38 degrees. So come and join us and we'll have a look at Semer Water. So you might notice we're switched from hand pump to motor pump because a couple next to us in the camper took pity on me and lent me their powered one.
Feel your arms around me, yeah, let it sink in. Yeah, I just let it sink.
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't normally bother with that bit. Okay, it doesn't do anything anyway.
This is not reality, let it sink in. Yeah, I just let it sink.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, it's not very cold. It's quite nice. No, it's not. That's a lot warmer than I thought it was going to be.
Give me your arm. I'm using the paddle as my balancing stick. Because you can't, well, you can see the rocks.
You're pushing me over. Right.
But they're a bit treacherous.
You in? Nearly lost your paddle.
Don't tip me out because I've got no hands.
I'm not going to intentionally do anything bad. I'll say that.
I'm not going to intentionally tip you out, darling.
No.
This is a good day as any to start a building life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
Oh, do you know why we're going around in circles so much?
Because you've got no fin thing.
I haven't put the fin in.
Do we need the fin?
Hey?
Do we need the fin?
Well, it'll drift a bit more, but we'll be all right. Whoa, we're drifting. This is what
You
happens.
might need the fin.
This is what happens when you forget to put the fin
Where
in.
is the fin?
Hey?
In the bag?
Yeah. Oh, this is lush.
Pete, we're going around.
I'm right
Oh,
turn.
you've not helped me there, have you? You could have, but you chose not to.
Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day to.
I tell you what, I hope it doesn't start deflating because we're going to get back to dry land quick, are we? Gee, it's going to take us 3 times as long to reach the other end of this lake.
It's funny though.
Actually, we're canoeing on an ice age lake in the Yorkshire Dales with no fin on our canoe. So we've got absolutely no steering whatsoever. I want to go see the ducks and the geese.
Not the geese, they're vicious.
No, they're not. You're thinking about swans. Answers in the comments below. Are geese as aggressive as swans? I don't think so.
There's no time to borrow today. Well, something's gotta give today.
For a chocolate brownie sponge cake mixture, that's not bad. So because I was making like a chocolate swirl cake mix, and I realised we hadn't got anything moist to take with it, so like any cream or anything. So I thought, well, it's going to be a bit dry on its own. So I've actually made it part chocolate brownie as well, so it's moister. So I've got like a chocolate brownie sponge cake mix. It's really weird, but it's lush. It's obviously stodgier than a sponge cake, but yeah, it's more spongy than it is brownie, if that makes sense. Lush. That's another one for the road trip. Well, good morning, everybody. It actually rained the other night last night. That's a bit of a difference from sweltering in 38 degrees. It's still quite mild this morning, but a bit of an overcast, drizzly day. But you know what? It's actually quite nice. Just not to be hot. It's still a beautiful morning. There's so much bird life around here with geese and ducks and stuff, and of course all the sheep and stuff on the hills. You got a constant sound from them. What I didn't think about last night, though, as I sat out here with the doors wide open, baking that cake stuff, was the fact that the van was being invaded by millions of midges. I mean, it literally was. The whole of the roof and roof lining was just covered in midges. There's loads of them around again now, right around my head now. So we ended up having to leave some of the lights on last night that seemed to attract them, just so we didn't get eaten alive by midges in bed last night. So lesson learned, don't leave the doors open when you're next to water. Hello, got some visitors again. Anyway, it's time to pack up and leave Semer Water, sadly. It's been a beautiful location to stay by, though, it really has. I think this is somewhere we'll be coming back to. Wouldn't mind coming back in the winter as well and seeing what it's like during the rougher weather. But I think we're going to head on to another unique spot in this area in the Dales, so I'll let you know more about that when we get there. See you soon. So these folks are the Buttertubs. They're naturally forming shafts that are carved into the limestone right in the heart here of what I think is one of the most beautiful areas in the Yorkshire Dales National Park. And they're called the Buttertubs because when farmers used to come along these trails, when they were just trails, and they would be taking their goods to Hawes Market, and they'd have their cheese and butter and stuff, and they would literally lower them down into these shafts, some of them are 20 meters deep, to cool them on the hot days so that it was still in good condition when they would get to market in Hawes. So we're now at White Scar Caves, which is the longest show cave in Britain. At over a mile long, it was carved out through the limestone in the ground. It was only discovered in 1923 when Christopher Long squeezed through a crack in the rocks using only candles for light. So, to visitors who have a medical condition or disability which may make climbing steps or bending difficult, the cave tour includes a flight of 97 steps and the roof is low in some sections. It's going to be interesting with a knackered right knee at the moment, isn't it? Be alright. The limestone surrounding us is hundreds of millions of years old, but the caves themselves are much younger, carved out of hundreds of thousands of years as water found its way through cracks in the rock. Rainwater absorbs carbon dioxide as it passes through the soil, forming a weak carbonic acid. That slowly dissolves the calcium carbonate in the limestone, gradually turning tiny fractures into passages, underground streams, and eventually huge caverns. It's all part of what geologists call a karst landscape, the same process that helped create the Buttertubs we saw above ground. And while Christopher Long discovered White Scar in the 1920s, the cave still had a much bigger secret waiting to be found. During the late 1960s and early 70s, members of the Happy Wanderers Caving Club believed there was more to the system. Further exploration wasn't encouraged at the time, so they continued with the clandestine trips into the cave, exploring after the visitors had gone and everything was locked up. Eventually in 1971, they worked their way deeper into the system and upwards through a huge pile of fallen rocks. Among the group was 19-year-old Hilda Guthrie. Hilda managed to squeeze through a tiny opening at the top and emerged into an enormous cavern that no known human being had ever entered before. They named it Battlefield Cavern. Around 90 metres long and 18 metres wide, it had remained completely hidden beneath the Yorkshire Dales until just only 50 years ago. And all around us, the cave is still slowly changing. Mineral-rich water deposits calcite as it moves through the cave, creating stalactites, stalagmites, and delicate curtains. White Scar also has huge amounts of moon milk, soft white mineral deposits coating parts of the cave, far more than we've seen in any other caves. And in Battlefield Cavern, the roof is covered with tens of thousands of incredibly thin stalactites known as straws, all of it forming slowly, drop by drop over thousands of years.
When it's winter, when there's been a lot of rainfall, you can hear that from the entrance.
Really?
Yeah, when it's like really rushing down. Obviously there's not been a lot of rain lately, it's
Yeah.
not so strong.
But we're still a long way from the entrance here, aren't we? So, yeah. I wonder what this looks like when there's been a lot of rainfall, considering we've been in a drought, and you've still got this. Can you imagine the force of it in the winter when there's a lot of heavy rain?
Yeah.
Right everybody, that's about all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy watching our videos, please consider hitting that like button, and if you're not subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button below. It really does help the channel grow. Thanks very much everybody, and as always, have a beautiful day.